Alright, so in this video, I'm gonna talk about the 5 times that I almost died. Okay, starting with the first time, I got set up to get robbed at gunpoint by gangsters in Atlanta, Georgia. Alright, so when I first started shooting videos in Atlanta, I was basically doing videos for free. And even doing videos for free, it was hard for me to get rappers that want to shoot with me. So I would tell rappers, I'd be like, hey man, if you want to do a video shoot, I got, the movie camera equipment. I got like $10,000-$15,000 worth of camera equipment that I can come out and I can shoot the video with. And one of my friends, he was telling me, he was like, yo, Reg, man, you got to stop telling these rappers how much money your cameras cost. And I didn't listen to him, and I was still just telling rappers yo man, I got like $15,000 worth of camera equipment. We can shoot a dope video. And I got set up to get robbed at gunpoint in East Point, Georgia. And the guy that robbed me, you could look at his bio on Instagram and tell he was probably somebody. He was definitely the robbing type. His bio on Instagram said something to the extent of "snitches get stitches on blood" or something like that, or something like it was like, yeah, if you a snitch, I'll cut you, or that's basically what his bio said. But at the time, I wasn't paying no attention. I was shooting rap videos for any rapper I could find because I just moved to Atlanta. And yeah, they set up the video shoot. We went to an apartment complex. We get to the apartment complex, and it's the middle of the day. I got robbed at gunpoint in the middle of the day. We get to the apartment complex, and he's like, yo, man, my boy got a rap studio inside the apartment. We trying to get inside the apartment. He's like, yo, I don't know why my mans ain't answering the door right now. Next thing I know, I'm on the ground. I was standing up 1 second. Next second, I'm on the ground. Some guy came up behind me with a gun and came from behind and slammed me on the right side of the ear with a gun and just knocked me on the ground. And my ear was bleeding and stuff. And at first I'm on the ground. I was like, I don't even know what happened. I look over at the artist I'm supposed to be shooting with. He just chilling. He looked totally unfazed. And then I turn around. I see a young dude back behind me. He probably maybe 18, 19, maybe 17. He got a gun in his hand, and the gun was so small, I wasn't fazed by the gun, to be honest. And I shot a lot of rap videos. You're going to have a lot of guns pointed at your face if you do trap videos. So I think I wasn't even really fazed by the gun. I was more so confused. I was like, yo, what's going on? I was like, yeah, and who's this? I was like, and the guy, it took me 5 seconds of looking between the artists I was supposed to be shooting and looking at the gunman, and I was like, y'all look totally too relaxed. I was like, oh, this is a setup. Y'all robbing me. and the guy with the gun, he was like, yeah, man, just give me your car keys. And I was like, oh, here go my car keys. I was like, you want my phone and my wallet? He was like, oh no, you keep those. He's like, keep your phone, keep your wallet. I was like, oh, how nice of these robbers to let me keep my phone and keep my wallet. Probably because they're trackable. So yeah, they just took my car keys. All my camera equipment was inside the car, and they just took off with my car. So that situation, being held up at gunpoint, honestly, was way less terrifying than I thought it would be. I even called the cops, and when the cops got there, the cops were like, yeah, man, you look so relaxed and so chill. And I was like, yeah. And I was like, I work with a bunch of rappers, so I'm used to being around criminals. So I was totally unfazed by being robbed. But before that point, I had already died almost 4 times. So let's go ahead and talk about those other times I almost died. St. Louis, Missouri. I was doing a rap video in St. Louis, Missouri. And you always want to get a dope spot for where you're going to shoot a rap video at. So we went and we found an abandoned building to shoot this rap video in. And the building had previously caught on fire. And it was just a dilapidated, halfway burned down building. We went inside to shoot there. St. Louis downtown has about 90 abandoned buildings. It's kind of like Detroit. They made the city too big. There's abandoned buildings all over the place. So we're in St. Louis, and we're walking through this abandoned building. It looks really cool on the inside. It's burned. You can see where stuff has collapsed. On the inside of the building, and we go up the stairs. We're probably on the 4th floor in this abandoned building that had been on fire previously. And I'm walking across the 4th floor in this building, and it's a warehouse. So like each floor is probably like 20 feet. It has like 20-foot ceilings. So we're walking through this abandoned building on the 4th floor, and the floor caves in beneath my feet. So I fall in, and I freaking like catch my body in the floor. So just like imagine the floor is right here. Like imagine the floor is like right here. My arms are just like stuck on the floor, and I was probably like one of the scariest moments of my life, because I think if I would have fell all the way through the floor, I probably would have died or been like seriously injured. But luckily, I didn't fall all the way through the floor. I only fell until like my chest and my head was above the floor. And we hurried up and got to that building. And I was like just happy to not have died that day. Okay, the 2 times I almost died in my car. So in college, I had a girlfriend. This was before I started like shooting rap videos and stuff. And I was like, man, and we broke up. She told me she was like cheating on me and stuff. So I was just like so mad and like so depressed. I was like, yo, I'm gonna just get in my car and I'm gonna just drive super fast until I hit something. So I got in my car and I was doing like 120 or like 130 miles an hour in like a 40 mile an hour speed zone or something like crazy like that. So I was speeding like almost 100 miles an hour over the speed limit. A speed limit, and I was driving super fast, and I was like, you know what, now that I think about it, I don't want to die. So I tried to slow down, but I couldn't slow down like fast enough. And I hit a curve because I couldn't turn the car. The car was going too fast. So I hit a curve, and the wheels broke off the vehicle and totaled the car. But luckily I didn't even get hurt. And after that happened, I actually went and drank a ton of alcohol and like passed out drunk. And I was like, my plan was if I pass out drunk, hopefully the next day I'll wake up and it'll just be like it didn't even happen. But yeah, it definitely happened. I remember the police going to the scene and laughing at how bad the car was wrecked when they saw it. Okay, the other time I almost died in my car, I was living in LA and I had to get the brakes on my car fixed. And I had the money to fix these brakes in my car, but instead of fixing the brakes in my car, this was in by Laguna Beach. I was living on a boat in Marina Del Rey, and I was also living in my car. And yeah, I had to get the brakes fixed in my car, but instead I just spent the money on camera equipment. So one day I was driving in my car over by Laguna Beach. By LAX, and yeah, the brakes just went out on my car. I hit the brakes and my car just wouldn't stop. I pulled the emergency brake and my car just wouldn't stop. So I had to just hit a bunch of right turns. Luckily there was like no traffic, so I just kept on hitting right turns. I hit like 3, 4, 5, 6 right turns in a row because I couldn't stop my car. And then in LA there's a bunch of hills, so I found a hill, drove up the hill, was like, okay, my car will stop at the top of the hill. So I get to the top of the hill and my car does not stop. My car is going like 1 mile an hour. But at the top of the hill, it can either go forward over the hill or it can go backwards over the hill. I probably should have just pulled my car over and like hit somebody's car or try to park on the curve. But this is LA. In LA, there's freaking cars lined up all along the sidewalk. There's not like a place on the curve where there's not a car parked. It's bumper to bumper cars parked on the street in LA. So there's nowhere to park, nowhere to pull over because there's just cars lined up all up and down the street. So I get out of my car and for some reason, I thought I could just stand in front of my car and like push it and it just wouldn't roll down this hill. So I'm in front of my car and my car is pushing me down this hill with ease. So I like jump out the way from in front of my car because it pushed me like 10, 20 feet. And the car shoots down this hill and like swerves and it hits like 3 other vehicles that are parked on the side of the street. And then it hits a palm tree. So yeah, that situation right there could have easily died riding around in the car with no brakes. And then the 5th time I almost died. This is recent. Like all those other times I was way younger. I was probably like early 20s. This happened last year. I was in Playa del Carmen, Mexico with my girlfriend. And I want to go see the reef. Like around Mexico, they have the 2nd biggest reef in the world. And I was like, yo, man, I want to go see this reef in Mexico. So we get into some kayaks and I'm not paying attention at these hotels they have a flag that shows you how safe the water is. And they said be careful, it's hazardous conditions out there. But I think they're just talking about the water currents, because like the weather felt beautiful. But I think the flow of the water is deceptively fast. So we ignore the warning flag on the beach, hop in a kayak, and we go out like a mile or 2 miles off the coast. And I want to see the reef, so I jump in the water. And I can hold my breath for a long time. So I jump in the water, I'm swimming around the reef and stuff. I probably was underwater for like 40 seconds or whatever, looking at the reef. The reef didn't look that impressive to me, to be honest. So I swam back up, and when I got back up, my girlfriend and the kayak were gone. And I was swimming around the reef, so I know that I did not move. But with my girlfriend just being on top of, the waves and the water, she really can't tell where she's at. So I come back up, she's gone. I'm like 2 miles off the coast in some deep, well, the water wasn't that deep. It's probably like 20 feet, but deep enough for me to drown. And I look around for like 10, 15 seconds, and I swam around, looked around for a bit, and I finally saw her like way off in the distance. She was probably like 50 or 60 feet away, but the water current is so strong, she's like trying to paddle the kayak, but she can't move the kayak because the water's too strong. But luckily, I'm a relatively strong swimmer, so I'm able to swim over to the kayak where she's at, and she pulls me inside, and yeah, luckily I didn't die. So yeah, those are the 5 times where I almost died. Pretty much every single one of those times could have been avoided if I would have just, been a little bit more careful. But yeah, that's the video for the day. I'll probably go into some more details about this later. Until next time, adios.